Welcome to Toffee TV, it's the final word. We've got Michael Ball joining us, ex-Everton, PSV, Man City, Rangers. List goes on and on. McGill boys, the
Four Beagles.
There you go. It's the full list. Yeah, we've got to talk about Watford, unfortunately. another disappointing defeat. But before we do, Michael, I mean, what's going on this season? I mean, from your point of view, what do you think's the problem?
It's a difficult one, you know. We had a difficult game against Tottenham, first game of the season. Good point, I thought, and then we had the easiest running, and we were doing quite well. Yeah, we were getting the points on the board anyway. Yeah. We needed performances. We wanted more from the players, and I think as time's gone on, I think Koeman's trying to get his way over, and I think he's realised that the players can't do what he wants to do. The players are sort of stuck in their own natural ability and what Koeman are trying to do, and they're not doing anything. They're sort of stuck in the middle. You know, as a winger, your job is to get the ball wide and cross it in. Ron, we know, is not the best movement of the ball, but give them the ball, you put it in the net, and we're not doing that enough. You know, you'll see a lot of teams, and I'm not saying we're getting overrun, up besides the Chelsea game, but we're not getting overrun football-wise. It's basic headers and simple headers that we can easily stop. To get teams back into games, or to get them ahead. That's the most frustrating thing for them. We're not learning. And I don't think the players are mentally tough enough to sort of to grind out results. And we've been talking 2 years now that we've probably got the best squad we've had for a long time, and I think the Evertonians, the fans, we've probably been overachieving 10 years ago when we didn't have the ability and the talent in the team. But showed will and desire at least. Yeah. And if you get beat, at least the fans can go, well, look, you know, we've had a good go. At the moment, we're seeing them to get rolled over by will and passion, and that's the most difficult thing to take. You know, if you get beat by a better team on a day, fair enough. But when the fans, especially, are travelling far away and they're coming back and you don't see, you know, a half decent tackle or any sort of will and aggression, it's difficult to back them and back the players and back the manager, and the fans are just cause more frustration.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about organisation there. That's what I thought the start of the season he got right. We looked organised. Obviously defensively we looked alright.
We had a plan B as well at times.
Yeah. But we sort of like just regressed into that plan B almost. We just seem to go long now all the time. And the defensive side, I mean, to concede 3 against a team like Watford, you know, from basic stuff, 2 set pieces but 3 crosses basically. You just struggle to think, well, how have they gone from actually being the one thing they were good at was being organised to look complete shambles at times now?
Well, that's the shocking thing. You know, Ashley Williams come in, we kept a few clean sheets at Goodison. We thought, oh, here we are, is the leadership and that we've been lacking, and that we want, and hopefully that'll drift with the whole team. And as you said, as the games have gone on more and more, I think players are sort of shying off their own responsibilities, and as I said, we're not getting beat by great football. It's simple crosses into the area, and they're so sort of stretched out as a team, defending wise. I know Koeman's come out a couple of weeks ago and said he hasn't got the personnel to play the high pressing game he likes to play, but you've got to go and find a way. Yeah. You know, you've got to find a way of doing it. You can't just sit back and I do my column in the Echo, and I feel like I'm just copy and pasting. It's just the same thing, you know.
That's what we do.
Like, you know, at Goodison Park, you know, teams hate a cover going there. Yeah. And so you always knew you had a bit of advantage, and you go, look, just don't let them settle, don't let them comfy. And the ball goes back to the goalkeeper, and we back off, and we sit back and let them play. We don't try and force any mistakes. We let the ability and the technical ability now in the Premier League, teams aren't going to pass you the ball. You need to put them under the pressure. You can't just wait for the long ball and then dictate from there. No. You've got to, you know, especially as a fullback myself, you know, last thing I wanted was a winger and a striker coming at me, because it makes me to force an error. You know, if you give me all day on the ball, you know, the ability now in the Premier League, they're going to kill you. And that's what we seem to be doing. We seem to be sitting back, waiting for a mistake, and then pouncing. And it is quite good when we do get the breakaway, because we are good on the counter attacks. But at Goodison, in the first 10-15 minutes, we're letting teams settle into a rhythm, and you think, well, they'll be made up at that. You know, that's the last thing you'd want. You want to get at in the faces, and then the first, after 10-15 minutes, let it settle, and then let our talent and players get the space and the ball work to get at teams. And we just don't seem to be doing, I think, what 40,000 fans are watching, thinking, what are they doing? Whether it's the players, the manager, I'm not too sure. You know, if what I'm laughing watching the Watford game, was the only thing I could laugh at was the manager standing on the sideline shouting. He can't speak English. Yeah, but he's showing passion to the fans. He's showing, and that's difficult when you get the fans behind you. They always think, oh, we're in for a tough one here. You know, it's sort of, that's what's sort of lacking at the minute. I think a bit of passion, a bit of desire from the players and the staff.
I think. Sorry, I was going to say, but I've made that point a few times about Goodison, haven't I? That it happened under the last manager. Away teams should come and feel under pressure immediately. You know, you hear these players. Joe Cole was the latest one last week. I hated going to Goodison, it was so hard. But now, these teams are coming with a plan, set up, and we're just coming out and letting them do. Swansea come the other week, they were dreadful. They haven't won for weeks, they come. We didn't put them under, we didn't have an attempt in the first 10-15 minutes, we just let them settle into their game. Then it's an equal game, once their confidence is up and we're ready, it's just an equal game. When we go away, like Saturday, we went away, we were under pressure from the first whistle. We were kicking it anywhere in the first couple of minutes, and that got, I know their crowd was quiet, but that Okaka, who hadn't scored for 100 years, ran us everywhere, and we didn't settle them, and that kind of set the precedent, and we need to.
You mentioned there about the pressure. I mean, I've said in the last few weeks, I thought having a three in midfield who hurried and chased and pressed, that would work for us, and it allowed the attacking players to do their job and not have to worry about that. But Saturday, you know, you've got I suppose the ideal, well, they're probably the three that everyone would think: Barry, McCarthy, and Garner to do that job, and they didn't ever see them in packs chasing. Garner does it on his own and does it really effectively, but like you said, to work, it has to be in 2s and 3s to work, and that would seem like the ideal three. The others, Barry and McCarthy, know what they're doing, they've been doing it for the last 2 years, but obviously Barry's legs look like this, eventually look like now they're starting to just go a little bit, and McCarthy just doesn't look like he gives them monkeys, to be honest. He just doesn't look like he cares.
It's frustrating because in training, you should be doing the training sessions of 11v11 and how you want to press, and but even if he's not, the players that are on the pitch have had that, they've been grew up with that coaching mentality, but it does start from the front. Yeah. But he can only do it if he's got backup. But if the back four, our back four on Saturday was so deep that them three in the middle couldn't press. So it looked like Gareth Barry's legs were gone because they were so deep, worrying about going the ball in behind, that they had so much space, Watford, to create and you know, just get at us, which you think it's just move up 10 yards. But because Leighton and Seamus go up that much, you know, it's difficult for the two sides to beat. You know, they are exposed. You know, the first goal when, you know, Rom had the ball, he tried to do something, he lost it, but then Leighton's tried to be positive and go forward, and he was free, but he couldn't find him. But then two passes and they've cleared through us, and that you think that's
you know, you mentioned about the goals. I mean, we've got a goal up there. I mean, you mentioned about the way we let teams settle down. We've got a goal up, and instead of going for the throat, we've just sat back again, haven't we? We've sat back and allowed the team to just find a little bit of composure, get themselves sorted, and get into the game. Where all the teams, they go a goal up, go for the throat, they stay positive, they defend by attacking. We just seem to allow teams to just get back into the rhythm, settle down. I can't remember who made the comment. Someone said on the weekend, it's the fear of winning. I think it was Thierry Henry. He said it's the fear of winning, and for me that idea is it's the fear of losing the lead that makes them sit back, because they think if we go on, it's almost like if we attack, we're going to be open at the back, and it's the opposite that happens.
Yeah. But we scored it was really the first time we'd gone forward, we scored. You know, we just tried to, he said the other week, didn't he, we've had to change the way we're playing because we're too open. And you know, we're sitting back, which is what Michael's saying there. We've got 6 defenders really, you know, James going on, Barry and Garner at the time to stay. I don't know what McCarthy was doing, I forgot he was playing. Honestly, I did. There was one time he put a tackle in, I thought he'd gone off about 20 minutes ago. But we scored, 20 minutes in. Yeah, we scored with the first attack, which was a really good goal, brilliantly taken by Ron. But then, this is what, in my video after the game, I blamed Lukaku for the first goal for the simple reason that, and people were like, oh, if he's not it, you know, and you've got to watch the whole game sometimes, not just the end result. He has a ball edge of the box, and there's passes on, like you said, Baines's gone flying down the wing, he can play wide, he hesitates. It wasn't that he then didn't have a pass, because they surrounded him well. What annoyed me was he just toe poked it, and it went to their centre half, and he went, now, I guarantee you, mate, that Okaka had done that, he'd have gone steaming at their defender, who might have lashed it into the stand, and he didn't. He looked up, and then they go long, they win the header, it goes wide, and then 2 seconds later it's in.
Well, we had a warning just before that, you know. Ron, again what you were saying, that when we scored the first goal, we thought we're going to kick on here, and it looked like Rom was ready for it, but he done dead well again, a little build up, we were unlucky, he thought here we go, but then Rom chased, and then the ball passed it behind him, and he's like looking for everyone else, but he's not on the same hymn sheet as everyone else, so then we get picked through, so it's like the pick and choose when they want to do something,
that's the thing,
you think, what's the game plan, just stick to the game plan so everyone knows, you know, who's to blame or what's what your jobs are. When someone starts doing the things a little bit extra, if it's in the right manner, fair enough, but don't kill yourself for the team, you know what I mean? That
seems to be the biggest problem at the moment, though, isn't it? A lack of any idea of what they're doing on the pitch, because I can't see what they're doing. I mean, I'm not necessarily football trained in that way, but I mean, do you see a pattern of play? Do you see what they're working on? Because I don't, because I'm just a fan in the stand, but I don't see what they're doing.
Well, I've just had to do my piece for the Echo a little bit, and don't know whether they're going to put it in, but it's sort of like, it's like they forgot what they're doing. At the end of the day, it's to score a goal.
Yeah.
You know, so I've said it before, basic stuff is your full-back, stop the crosses.
Yeah.
Get forward as a bonus if you're the winger. Yeah. Like Delafoe's got given these massive opportunities, he's been frustrated this season, you think, okay, Balassi, he's injured, here's your opportunity, grab it. His decision making with crossing, I don't get it.
Yeah.
A few fans last year were raving about, I couldn't get my head round it, because he's getting the ball, he's hitting it far too early for anyone to get into this 6-yard box or second 6-yard box. He's hitting too close to the keeper, so it's impossible for Rom, even at the best of times, to get across that first post. And at other times he takes that extra touch, and then Rom is frustrated because he was free, and he takes the extra touch. Yeah. It all closes up. His timing of crossing is it's terrible. As a fullback, you think, keep having another touch.
Yeah.
You're made up, you think you can set yourself down, and we're doing things to sort of help the opposition, we're not hurting them. So I want to know, you know, it's a basic school thing that I got told as me as a fullback, how many crosses did I stop, or how many crosses did I put in, and what did I contribute to the game? Because at the minute it just looks like they're on the pitch having a game of footy in the park and forgetting the objectives, which is to try and hurt the opposition by scoring or making it difficult. And you see a pattern in play, but we're changing and tweaking that. It's hard to sort of stand back and figure out what is the formation, what are we doing?
Has he got to nail that down? I mean it sounds silly, but every week the team seems to change, and every week there's a little tweak in the formation. It's not massive. You know, some weeks we play a flat 3, some weeks we're playing Garner and Barry, some weeks we've tried 3 at the back, we've tried 3 at the back, but in sort of like a different way. We early on with Holgate was sort of coming in and making a 4. Every game there just seems to be a little tiny tweak and a different player, and that can't help, surely. You know, especially when you just want to nail down just a formation that's going to be solid and structured. And because what annoys me about the Premier League is there's so many teams that are I say worse, but they're not. But they've got worse players, but they know how to play. You look at Burnley.
They're getting the best out of the players.
Yeah, you look at Burnley and you think, I watched the game against us and I thought, I couldn't watch this every week, but it works. They get wins at home.
Yeah.
They get, you know, for what they lose away, they get back at home. I think we don't have that. We don't have a way that just almost not guarantees a 3 points, but guarantees a performance that will help to get 3 points.
Yeah, well, we haven't got. Where are we dangerous? You know, that's dangerous by Rom. So they put 2 or 3 players on Rom. What else have we got? You know, we can blame Rom. You know, one of his, I can have a go and call it his movements and his laziness and stuff. But at the end of the day, he puts the ball in the net. So all their job is, when you look at Everton, to go, right, where are they going to hurt us? And that's it. Just stop the ball going to Rom, frustrate Rom, and that's it, game over.
Bob Bradley said this the other week before the game.
It's a basic, really, that you're playing your opposition and they're going right about your formations. There must be a mental block, because in training they'll be doing it in training. So he'll pick what he's happy with, what worked against, you know, the reserve 11. So they're doing it in the training pitch, but they're doing it on the Goodison at the weekend. They're not getting to the level where Koeman wants them to be at. Because you surely wouldn't be putting out a team blind on a different formation that you haven't worked on all week. But you work on yourselves, but you've also got to work on your opposition. Like the goalkeeper Gomez, you know, he's a good lad. He's funny, like the ex-teammate at PSV, but Koeman knew him as well. Great fella, but absolutely hopeless on the ball.
Yeah.
You know, so a little pointer like that to say to Rom, look, he's hopeless. Any back passes, put him under pressure, and cause havoc. Then the home team will get on the back because he's kicked it off for a throw-in, or done with the Liverpool fella and done it. We're not doing it. But he was sitting there taking the extra touch and dictating where he wants to kick the ball. I'm sitting watching telly from, well, that's an insight that Koeman should have mentioned to the players, but he probably doesn't want that chasing. In case I don't know. I just
the only time
you look at negative and positive for each team, don't you? You think let's try and exploit it, their negatives, and they're looking at ours, and we're thinking we know they're going to give us an opportunity to cross the ball. So to struggle across us, to keep it here or there, made a bad mistake at United, gives them the the incentive to go forward. So they know that keep poking, there will be an opportunity, and that's not good enough.
The only time he done that, Press Gomez in the first half, Delafeu done it, and he ended up kicking it against the defender, and it went out for a corner. He smashed it off the defender's head. It was the only time he done it. But I think the thing with Rom, it's exactly like you just said there. You give him a chance, he'll score goals. The biggest problem I have, and Lukaku, if we take him out of our side, we're knackered really, because we've got no one else who can score. But if he's not scoring, what else is he doing? If he's not prepared to do that hard work, that makes the top players for me. Because if you're not going to score every single week, he goes 6 games without a goal, but we don't help him. The way we play doesn't help him. So Koeman surely must be looking, thinking, how can I get assistance for him? Delafeu's not going to do. Morales is a waste of time now. He doesn't do anything, Kevin Morales.
He's had too many opportunities.
Exactly, and he's great. You'll know it from playing, but he's one of those players. He's great at looking like he's doing something. Actually, if you watch him, he isn't actually doing anything. He'll run at 70%, and he'll go and just put the brakes on. And
but Ron, like when Valencia's coming, to be fair, Valencia, he's showing his legs, a bit of pace up front. So Ron, I think, might need that alongside him. It's I hate to talk about them lot. Sturridge scored a lot of goals off what Suarez was doing, doing all 4 defenders' heads in, carrying them and tying them out, and that'll give Rom that extra space. Do you know what I mean? To do something, Rom, reminds me up because Chelsea last year, he doesn't really make much goals himself. You've got to put it on the plate to him. Like, he's never done great movement. It's just Barry put a great ball in, and he just followed it through, and then the second goal, they just left him alone. He didn't do anything.
But that's because Valencia was there.
That was exactly because they're worrying about someone else alongside him. So make it difficult for them. Get Valencia to run the challenge and make that space that Rom needs. Where then Delafeu's got a nice space to put it in.
Well, it's the same as last week, wasn't it? It's like last week. I mean, it sounds stupid, but you have more attacking players on the pitch. You've got more chance of scoring goals, haven't you? Barkley was on when we got the second goal. Valencia was on. We were throwing something at them, and you're thinking, why don't we start games like that? Why weren't we like that when we were 1-0 up? Why weren't we having a real go? Is the shape? The shape to me is all wrong. It should be some kind of 2 up front. Now I don't know what that means for the rest of what happens behind, but it's got, as you say,
it can't be negative.
It's got to be positive, hasn't it? This to me is just so negative. I just think you've just said Delafeu and Morales can go missing in a 3. It's so easy to go, but when they're stuck on the wings, it's almost like, well, you do your job or you don't do your job. When you don't do your job, we can see it and we can get you out the team.
Valencia can come off the flank though, can't he? He can play. Why, like you just said, he was spinning into them holes anyway. Why not? And I said this to you before, haven't I? Play with one of Morales or Delafeu, but have Valencia on the other side. Say to him, get alongside Lukaku, because if you played centre back, if you just had one fella to pick up,
you're having a cup of tea all day.
Exactly. And let's be honest, Ron, that's not his game. I'm not bashing him because he scores goals.
Well, I've said it a few times. I've played against Ron myself. I'm not the biggest and strongest centre half, so I'll pick on Ron. Because I know he's not going to. I don't want to play against small ones. You might bully me a little bit, but you give him space in front. You can do that all there. And he's not going to hit me from going behind. And that's where the goal is. At the end of the day, you've got to protect the little 12-foot goal. The whole big pitch. If you concentrate on defending that, it's easy. Anything behind, people like Valencia running in, that's going to hurt teams and create space for Ron. Also, I think we've been very one-sided for far too long.
Yeah, with Balassi.
And then we tried Balassi to go on the left, but he does pretty well. Cuts in on his right. It's as soon as he cut in, the defenders are made up. That's it. The danger's gone then. And it's got to be a great ball, and it's got to be a great run time from midfield and a striker. But it's I'd rather have him. He just seems to be going down for one side far too often, and I think he's tried with Balassi in the left, but we know he's going to creep in. So you're not really hurting them, to be honest. You're compacting their back 4 even more. You're not stretching them out. You're not getting their right back on their line where you want them to be. So you can get runners in between. But that's the first. It's very simple. It's very simple tweaks that we should be doing, which we're not.
It's like you when you play, you've got, and obviously we had Duncan, so it was great in the air. But when you get the ball on the left hand side, if you've just got one player in the middle, you've got to hit a hell of a gun.
You've got
you had a nice left foot, but you've got to hit.
But you always have like a sitting midfielder, you've got to bypass, haven't you? You're just trying to protect the front, so there's normally 3.
And we've got one man in the box, so that ball's got to be perfect, otherwise how are we going to score? And that's, if I watched them and after we got beat Saturday, had the Burnley Bournemouth game on, I don't know why, it was just on me thing, and Bournemouth, they play some great football, they did, they ended up losing 3-1, but both teams, every time they attacked, had 6 players in the box, and I was thinking, we don't have 6 players collectively over in the half. Well, we got to half time Saturday, you know, we give a really poor goal away, we get to the break, we've had 1 attempt at goal in that first half, and we scored 45 minutes against a team who had lost 3 out the last 4. You know, Stoke had gone there and kept the clean sheet. That's how poor Watford have been lately. And you think, alright, he's tried something that's not really worked because it's 1-1 and we've created nothing. That for me is when he earned his money. He should have gone, right, like you've just said, let's have a go, let's ask these some questions. Get Valencia, we could have took McCarthy off or Morales off, put Valencia on, so get close to Lukaku. Let's get them going the other way. You know, almost do away with the left hand side.
Watford come to us with a bad record of set pieces. So they worked on it. You know, they worked on what they weren't good at, and he implemented it against us, and we've let them do it. You know, we're not good at set pieces. We're not creating a lot of chances. Like, I'm a big fan of set pieces and working on them because just one can make a difference.
It's a free chance, isn't it?
It just makes a massive difference. You know, even the best teams in the world, you can play football and fight. Even Real Madrid, put the coach against the bus against the wall and all that, and they score on a set piece. Ramos, it makes a massive difference.
Wins you the game.
We're not.
No.
The ball's coming, if it's not consistent enough. So sometimes it comes in and everyone goes, oh, wait, is everyone? They're not expecting it. You know, we hit the front man so many times, which I can all sort of understand because it is desperately good. It's difficult to get that whip in. But why isn't one of our players standing on the front post to flick it on? If it happens, it's just stand there for us, just in case. You know,
I think that's the most annoying thing, isn't it? Because you go to, I always say this, you go to any like Sunday League pitch and you watch kids just put dangerous balls into the box, but there's not any thought behind it because obviously it's Sunday League, it's just people doing what they want to do. But you watch that and you think to yourself, how come he can do that? And then you watch someone, you go to Everton, you watch Baines or Morales hit the near post every time because they're looking for that tiny perfect thing that it still might come off or it mightn't come off, and you think, why aren't you just hitting the danger?
One of the best Everton aside, and you'd look at him, and I'm showing me 80, you'll know him, like, but I don't know whether he played, you probably see
Paul Holmes.
No. Paul
Holmes was the best crosser I've ever seen.
Paul Holmes is one of the best fellas I've ever met, by the way. Funniest fella ever. But told you the Ryan Giggs story. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But Rick Holden, remember him? At Oldham, he was. You look at him, mate. He loved the pint of bitter.
But he wouldn't
beat the man.
But he wouldn't put his head up because he didn't know what's going on.
Just throw him in.
We're so slow about building. We don't know what's going on. We don't know. Look, with the ball's going down, look, take 2 touches and get it in. Just try and get it in.
But you know, if you're Lukaku and I'm running,
the midfielder knows for the start that if it's going down the left or the right, within 2 or 3 touches, that ball's going this way. I need to break my neck to get in the box. If he's messing about with it,
that's what I mean.
He's not going to go. Do you know what I mean? So you've got it's a basic thing that the one goes past the front post, one in the middle, one covers the back.
Well, we say this every week. We say this. What's happened to centre forward going near post?
We're getting so old.
Centre forward. That's what we were saying. No, centre forward goes near post. Centre forward goes back post, and your midfielder is bursting a gut to hit the penalty spot in case that it's so.
We're trying to find a perfect pass. You know, we're trying to find everything that's a bit perfect where. You've got to sort of think, you know, you're sort of giving like clues away when you sort of get past someone. You know, you're trying to hit that second 6-yard box, the invisible 6-yard box, and the ball flashes past it. And if I've broke my neck and done that, and no one's on the end of it, I'll be going off my head. You know, because I've done my job.
You threw it in. You threw it in.
At the end of the day, if I'm messing about taking an extra touch, you know, it's not fair on them. So they should be having a go at me then for getting in earlier.
But there's none of that.
There's no leadership. But everyone's sort of looking over the shoulder to sort of think, oh, you get us out of the
You're right, that's Delafay done it. He does it all the time, but he did it on Saturday all the time. He's looking for that extra touch to get the perfect crossing. You think Lukaku or whatever has already made that run. If you take that extra touch, you're thinking it doesn't always have to be perfect. How many times do you see a ball just whipped into a box and it hits somebody and it just bounces?
Last season, the first part of last season. He wasn't doing that.
No, he was just getting the first time.
Just getting the touch, and Ron was making the run, and the amount
back post.
It worked about 11 goals,
but it worked because Ron knew when to time his run, and Delafeu knew when to put the pass, and it worked perfectly.
But you don't need to think it, like Mike just said. There's no thinking about it. If I'm a centre forward and you've got the ball, I know you're just gonna throw it in. I'm just making me run, so I know you're putting it in. But if when Beagley played for us, and he'd drag it back, and you'd see Graham, they'd all be throwing their arms up, going just cross.
You're sitting down at the time.
He hasn't done that other trick yet.
You know, does that come from? I mean, again, something we've spoken about is lack of partnership. We've got no partnerships in the team at all.
Yeah,
so does that come from, like, on the training ground, Koeman going, right, we're going to do this? Because the Balassi and Ron thing seem to work, and they seem to have been, they've got like a partnership going. It seems
like they're helping each other.
Yeah. But does that need to be now, they establish those partnerships and say, right, we're going to work on this. Morales, you're playing on the right, so you whip it in, or Delafeu, you whip it in. We're going to just work on this and work on it like you would on a set piece. Get those timings right and say, you know, Lukaku going over to Jerry and going, listen, because I don't see any of that either.
Yeah,
I don't see anyone.
You don't want to disrespect each other on the pitch, but you've got to show something to go. Because if I make a mistake or not sort of doing what they want, you're getting away with it a little bit. You know, you don't want. You got someone in your ear.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I'm not going to mess up again. I'm going to try and do that again and go out and try and prove myself. So you want that little.
And us as fans want to see. For me, there's no reactions anywhere. We give a goal away. No one's looking around going, why haven't you picked them up? There's and it doesn't have to be mistakes. It can be what a ball that was. You know, my fight should have got on the end of it. And you carry on, and you know next time I'll do it. There's none of that anywhere on the pitch. It's all like, the way I describe it, and I said to you, they just look like they've been told they're not his players. He doesn't really care about them because he wants his own men, and they're kind of like, I'm not asked. Yeah, well, it's January. You know, we've got games before then.
Yeah, well, that's the lucky thing is we've had the easiest start all season than anyone else, and we got the points on the board. Because if I tell you, we had a difficult team. I'm worried to where we've been in the league at the moment. You know, but you know, with the Man City thing and the Everton thing, with the new change of policies and the new players coming in, but the players are, you know, Koeman's coming out saying the players haven't got confidence. Well, motivate them, get the confidence back. That's your job. You know, it is difficult not having confidence as a player, because especially if you know the manager's going out and saying negative things that we're not good enough to play a certain way. You know, you should be questioning the manager. Go, well, I'll show you I can. You know, but there's no reaction to that. There's no reaction of.
Well, we're treading that fine line at the moment, aren't we? Because you don't want to be critical of Koeman because he's 6 months into the job, but then he gives you enough to be critical of him. I mean, one of the things for me at the moment, I still think it's 3 teams. There's still Moyes' team in there, there's still Martinez's team in there, and there's the team Koeman's trying to create. I don't think that helps, so a big clear out is needed. But it's hard. You've got to start being critical of him, haven't you, as a manager? Because I know it's like January's great and it's coming, and I don't know how many we're going to sign. But there are easy wins. I mean, James McCarthy, for me, should not be anywhere near an Everton football team. If there was a thing yesterday came out in the paper and said he wants to leave. If he wants to leave, let him leave.
He's wanted to go for a while. We know that.
One of the questions I'm going to ask you is: you came into the team when it was struggling as a youngster, but you thrived. You seem to thrive on that. You seem to take the responsibility. We bang the drum every week for Tom Davies. People hate us because how much we want Tom Davies in the team. But I just think things like that are an easy win. Holgate last week when he came on against Man United was outstanding. He's nowhere near the team this week. And you just think you're not making it easier for yourself. They are players that would do a hell of a lot better job than some you've got in at the moment. Some players who don't want to be there. And I say, McCarthy, get rid of him. Don't just exclude him like you've...
With the fans... You know, we've got nothing much to shout about at the minute, you know, with the negative results and negative performances. So the kids, I think, even for these next 2 games, I know the players, if they can't get motivated for these next 2 games, you know, they shouldn't be playing football, to be honest. But with the kids coming through, it gives the crowd something to cheer about, and it's a buzz. And then when you see a kid doing something slightly extra or showing a bit of will desire, they'll go into the senior project, but that's what we're missing. If they know it, but sometimes you need someone to show you it, to show you that passion on the pitch. They know, they're obviously not going out to go, let's have a chill day today. They're going out to try and do a job, and then they sort of go back in that old moment that we've had the last 18 months, and you see a young kid run past you and put a tackle in, like a Holgate was doing good as 2 weeks ago. You're like,
that's the start.
It's only a tackle. But you get you off your feet, you get the crowd up, and then it gives everyone else a bit of a boost. But with the Koeman thing, you know, you say you've got 3 different teams. He's not the only manager that have to come in and sort out a squad. You know, we don't want to be critical of. We want to try and, you know, he wants to be probably the Barcelona manager. So for him to do that, he's got to get us to be successful.
Do something with us.
He's got to get us to be successful, which is great, fair enough. But he's got to get the best of the players that we've got. We've been crying about it over the year last season that Martin never got the best out of the players. But Koeman needs to prove he is a good manager and get the best of what we got till January. You know, and then January, then you can bring your own players in. But at the moment, we've got games to play, and important games for Everton.
On the kids though, when you come into the team and you came in with other players just like Danica and Martin, and people say, you know, don't bring the kids in now because it'll just destroy them. Does it matter? I mean, because if you're going to be a good player or not, do you need that mentality anyway to deal with those situations?
I don't know. I think I look at the Rashford thing last year. Man United were going through a difficult time, and you know, Van Gaal was trying all kinds. He was getting a stick when he was doing well, getting a stick when he wasn't doing too well. You know, Man United is a massive club and expectations really high, and he used everything he could. So he's like, I have to throw this kid in, and it totally changed them. It totally changed the outcome of Man United. They went on to win the cup. It was some young kid showing a bit of positivity and, you know, creating, scoring goals and getting the crowd back off their feet. It's just one little decision like that can make a massive difference. And I think the senior pros, they've had enough time through pre-season to show Koeman what to do, and they're not doing it. You know, so it's not like our under-23 is at the bottom of the league.
No.
You know, they can't do any more than what they're doing. You know, so they've got to obviously show it in training as well, and show that they are at the same level, which is difficult because you're not training with them all the time, so you're in and out. But when you are there, stand out, do something to sort of, you know, catch the eye of the manager. I talk about myself as when the day before the game, play 11v11, and was I think I can't remember who were playing, but it was Kanchelskis against myself, and I just kept on stopping it, but I didn't know it was a walk-through game. I was like, so I was sort of going,
don't snap him
too heavy. And then Joe Royal just said, Michael, stop, and he let him pass. We're trying to do like a thing. And I was alright, okay. And that, he always talks about that now, and that's sort of given me my sort of kickstart to get involved in the first team. So I think the kids, don't be in all of them. Now, I think a lot of the young kids have got that mental ability that they know they're better, but they've got nothing to back it up. They haven't got the 5 years to back. They just need the opportunity, and hopefully Koeman will, with a bit of pressure from Unzi and Joe Royal at the club, to go, look, throw them in, because they'll show you something that might surprise you.
You came in probably one of the most high pressured games we've played when we beat Spurs, and you could come on a sub thing, and that was your debut. We Gary Speed scored, we won. Right, that was in midfield. You played in that, you can't get any more high pressure. We're about to get relegated. If we wouldn't, that was a massive win that season. Then, you know, we've got Arsenal this week. He scored his first goal against them.
I was going to say that for the preview.
No, we can go back to it. But what I mean is, as a young player there, were you thinking, you know, I'm scared to play? Because I'll tell you what, it didn't look like you were scared.
No, never was. I was on the only time I was a little bit nervous was the second game, was the derby on the Wednesday, because I was on the bench. But I'm nervous as a fan. As a player, I'm not. So I sort of forgot I was actually on the bench. You know, really get warmed up. You're like, where's my bottle? And then, now as a player, as I got older and you think about what was my mentality back in that day, I knew it was good enough. I didn't really care. I didn't have respect, but I knew I was better than what I was seeing. And at the time, you know, Hinchcliffe was playing well for us. He was a great man, but I knew I was going to take his place. That was my sort of little, I'm after you, you know. And he was England international at the time, so we sold him, and I got my opportunity. But as a kid, you can be a bit sort of too cocky or something. So you've got to back it up a little bit. And that's so the worrying about, I think because I'm an Everton fan, I didn't care about the relegation thing, because I thought that's never going to happen. I had that sort of arrogance of that's never going to happen. It's only when people start asking me now when you were writing books and what was your thoughts, and I'm going, you read because we were there. I didn't really notice it at the time. I don't think it did, because I knew we'll be alright. I had that sort of,
and you could influence it because you were involved in it.
That's the way I look at it. I look at these kids and I go, they must be dying to play for Everton Football Club, not worried about, because they can't throw them into the situation. I go, well, they'll sink or they'll swim. If they're not mentally ready, I don't think they'll ever be mentally, you know, if you're 18...
They're not young kids anymore either. They've you know, they're 18, 19, 20, you know.
And they've probably been at the club for 10 years as well. You know, some of them have testimonials, and you think they're either ready or they're not ready, and if they're not ready, they'll never be ready.
But the point we've made about Sean Davies is we don't go... We haven't mentioned them today much. But we don't go and watch the under-23s, so we're judging it purely on what he's done in the Premier League, he's not looked out of like a fish out of water anyway.
But also, we look at it like, I've been going to watch Everton for 30 years. I've seen all kinds of. I've seen who's swimming, who's sung. You know, you come in brilliant. Other players come in and look. John Hills come in, look dead nervous, and just you know, some players you go, that sound. Some players just look. Nah, they'll never make it.
Tom was like that, wasn't he, when he come on, he ran the show?
Exactly.
Just calm, collective, and kept the ball. And
come on at Chelsea the other week, 5-0 down, and he was like, "You got man of the match." I give him man of the match, because he hits a couple of people. He got it. No, but that
if he's trying to dictate, he's trying to do something. He's brave enough to ask for the ball. Give me the responsibility.
Holgate did it last week. First tackle, as you just said. First tackle, smack right in there, won the ball.
Do you know what they're lacking? The young kids is experience, and you can't do much more than what they're doing. You know, that's all you used to get. So when you're a kid, they go, "Oh, well, come back in 2 or 3 years." You're like, "Well, give me the opportunity then, and I'll show you." You've got to have that because they've learned everything. You know, they've learned the whole thing. It's just experience and the little bits that you get when you get older and wiser. But you're only going to get there by playing in 90 minutes and getting involved. And I think you just throw them in. We'll kick a lot of them, the senior players at the backside, to say, "Look, we need to look after these boys and do our bit. We can't be letting them sort of get us out the day." You know what I mean? So. You know, they've got to be for the futures, and I think as a club as well, even though we're sort of short-sighted at the minute, thinking about we want these kids to be with us for the next 10 years if they're good enough, and they want to show that they're good enough. They don't want another £30 million signing coming and going backwards. You want to throw them in, and if they do well, great. But we could sell them for 10, 15 million if they're unwanted because we're at a different level and we're buying world-class players to sort of not keep them in the shadows.
That's the thing.
It's sort of not helping anyone. It's not helping the kids, not helping the club. You know, in the end, it is a business, and Chelsea do it a lot. You don't see a lot of players, but they get a lot of players in and they sell them.
Unzi seems to have been, last couple of weeks he's been quite vocal, hasn't he? Not sort of saying they must play, but he said, well, some days he's ready. I've never seen him play so well. You know, there's a couple of others in there, they're ready to go.
He's half a dozen already last week.
But he said he's certainly, because it's his job at the end of the day, and he shows that he's doing a great job, and he obviously wants to be the next Everton manager, but he seems to be doing, you just wonder, is there a disconnect between where Koeman is and where the under-23s is? Like, you know, Koeman strikes me as the kind of man he seems to be the kind of fella who goes home at 4 o'clock and plays golf. But he seems to be that little bit of disconnect that he doesn't really care.
But he got a lot of, I think the managers now, it's a difficult one. And I know Man City, the development side didn't sort of get on with Sven because Sven was basically, I won't need any of them because I've got money. Well, I got told I've got $1 billion, so I'm going to buy a squad. So they didn't like that, and there was no one going through, and the kids were already made it slightly. Stephen Ireland, Nicky Richards, they were sort of involved in the squad anyway. So I can see that point of view because he's not going to get based on who comes through the club in 5 years' time. Koeman, he's going to be what he's done, and he's tendered here for the next 3 years. And they're being very selfish, you know. But the club have got to say, i.e. Southampton, look, we've got to put the kids through. I know we had problems with Southampton. This is how this club works. We bring kids through, we develop them, we try and get the best out of them and keep them or sell them or whatever. That's our. But if he's going to be judged on the 3 years he's here, on his performance and when he finishes in the league and trophy-wise, he's after titles, and so that's a difficult thing. But it's not helping anyone at the club though. But if the players are good enough in training, he's got no other option now because the ones at the pitch at the moment.
That's the big thing, isn't it? Cleverly, McCarthy, then those two for a start. Are on it. There's a few of them though, and I said it's like there's a rotation. You don't play, you play. You don't play well. You go out the team. Whoever replaces you comes in. They don't play well.
You come back in without doing anything.
It seems to be the same rotation. The circle of shite, I called it. It just seems to be the same in every position. Well, nearly every position.
The line pussy.
It just seems all. That seems to be the problem. You think now we need a little. And I say January, everyone's.
You said it before. Kuba's put. You know, he's given us things to niggle at. And I think if he throws the kids and it never worked, we won't moan him.
No, I wouldn't moan.
We go, unlucky. You know, at least the kids track. We know we're going to get passion and desire from them. Yeah. You know, so even putting 3 in at a time. Just throw 3 in and give them a go and see what they can achieve, and it's better than what we're showing.
I just think if you're, like you said it before, and it was, he's got his plan. He knows he wants to bring players in and all that. That's great, but there's games here that are passing us by now. At the moment, that circle of shite is right, because all we do, we keep the formations generally the same. It's 3 up front, which doesn't, it's not 3 up front, it's 4-5-1, because our 2 wide players don't ever support Rom. So he's on his own. A fella that doesn't want to do that type of work is on his own. If he puts him on langs, he'll get him goals. But the midfield, cleverly come in, he's had his chance, he's cocked it up. Now, what I want to say to you is, as a player, when you were playing, I'm quite sure you would have appreciated the manager. If you're, say, when you come to Everton, if Hinchcliffe gets a calf injury, he's out for 2 weeks, you come in and you're outstanding for 2 games, surely you'd be thinking, I've just had 2 man of the matches there. Hinchcliffe can come and sit on the bench, because that, as a manager, that's how I would do it. If you come in and do the job right, doesn't matter if he's the first choice. If you're playing well, I'm not going to go, well, sorry Michael, but you know, Pet. Like, you weren't a good left back, but he's coming back in and you're coming on. Because I think players, you know, at any level you play at, if you get in the team and do well, you should stay in the team until.
Well, you'll find a position for you.
Oh, he said that on day one as well.
I know, then I can't get my head around it.
It's not backing up what he said at the start, wasn't it? That's the thing, you know. Kevin's had a few opportunities, he come out and then he comes back in again. But so he must be Pele or Maradona.
Yeah, he must be boss and training.
You know, I don't know what they're seeing, are they? But it's, you know, you think you'd be fair, you know, as a manager, as a player, you just want to be treated fair.
Yeah.
And if you're not playing, I think Delafeu was sort of had a bit of a. He's been frustrated, these opportunities, Lennon's got ahead of him, Bolassi's been ahead of him, so you just think, right, here's your opportunity now, go out and shine, show the manager was wrong for not picking it.
The other one is Seamus Coleman, isn't it?
You
look at it and just think, I look at it and go, what's Seamus Coleman actually doing to keep his place when he has got this kid breathing down his neck who, every time he gets a chance, does well. That, you know, forget about other players like Tom Davies who we've only seen glimpses on. Holgate's done it, he's come in the side and done it, and you think, Seamus hasn't done enough to keep that shirt.
The problem I feel with Seamus at the moment, he's trying to do too much, and you know he scored the Goodison, but I was like, what are you doing there? You know, what are you doing? Like I was saying it all game. He was cutting. You know, you do the overlap, or you go inside and cut the angles, but he's making it easier for the other team to defend, because he's making it compact, where Balassi needs bit of space to run into, leave him 1v1, leave him 1-by-1. But Seamus loves to be involved and go forward, but I think he needs to pick his moments and sort of just sit back and just let Balassi do that. Your job is to that end.
Not going to have to worry about that for a while.
So I think you talked about partnerships before. I think that's the lack of, like, you know, like with Leighton and Pienaar, that great communication. Leighton knew he could do that all day, knowing Pienaar would sit, and vice versa. I think they're sort of trying to find their way, and Coleman's trying to do both jobs. He's trying to defend and he's trying to get the assist, but you know, you just bought someone for nearly 30 million quid, let him do it. You know, you just do your job and let's not get counter-attacked, which is happening far too often.
So, I mean, we haven't really spoke about the game because I don't want to, but I mean, the goals they scored second half, I mean, both those crosses, I mean, I thought we were past those days. We just looked awful, didn't we?
You think when Ashley Williams came in, we thought, you know, the first couple of games he was showing a bit of leadership, they were keeping clean sheets and it looked pretty good, and it sort of gone backwards. But the first half, you know, it's horrible sitting, I can't watch the footy on the couch, I started tweeting without looking, and trying to get away with my spelling there, but it's tweet as it goes on. But the amount of times Watford were breaking on us and they had an extra spare man on the back post, and with a better choice or a better ball, Coleman had his own man, but there was another man. So within, you've been warned to look, lads, who's got this man, and they're going to move over, or, you know, let's find a way of stopping it. They've done it 4 times in the first half, and then obviously before the goal, when they got the clear header, we don't seem to be marking, do we? We're like a zonal. But then there's the wrong people in the wrong areas. So if they had Rom at the front, if you miss Rom out, who's in the middle? You know, I don't really understand what's going on. I think it's like they've you find a place where you are comfy, to the way you like to be. I used to like being the front one, you know, because it's quite easy, really. You know what I mean? But you get a sword, you get the thick one, and you know what I mean. The ball's coming in, but it's just the basic things I look at and go, that's easily fixed. You stick Rom in the middle, stick Rom to one of the big players. You know, like Coleman's marking someone from the box. You know, he's a man marker. I don't get.
Gareth Barry seems to get done quite a lot on set pieces, I've noticed as well. It's like I seen
it. Terry O'Neill was showing it, and I sort of agree with him in a way. But as a defender, if there's 3 of us against 3, I don't care who I'm marking. this is my
Go
area.
win your battle, yeah.
I know you're going to run from post, so you just say, look, I'm running front, you'll stay middle, you're going back. If they want to switch and swap, I'm not going to run round you and go, you know, you're playing catch up.
At
the end of the day, you've got to be your body across them. If it goes over your head and he gets it, fair enough, but don't let him get across you. You know, the standard positions from Guy as well. It was just sad on him, because when he looked, the guy did look and there was no one there, so I think he thought, I'll just stay where I am. But as the ball and his run started moving, he started encroaching on him, and he never changed his body angle. And just like, that's dead easy to pick out. And Koeman will come out and say it. He'll probably say it in training with them. He goes, look, that's wrong because you never done that. You did it wrong, you never done this. And they go, come on, let's stop talking about the mistake. Let's try and talk about something positive and go out and find a way of winning. And that's the frustrating thing. Every game now we're sort of going, because of this, because of that, because of that. I mean, we know that. We watched it, but your time as a manager.
But as a player, you want to win your battle, don't you? You want to win
you don't want to be the one who's let the team down. You know, if you look at the Liverpool game yesterday, the keeper, that frustration of he's made a mistake.
There's no one. There's no one at the moment. Don't have to worry about that.
That's the problem. You don't want to go in that change room. You're like, oh, just let the whole lads down there. Do you know what I mean? You don't want that.
You wouldn't know anyway. They would all be on the mobile phones anyway.
It's sort of. I think everyone's getting away with the mistakes at the minute, and it happened all last season as well. And when that happens, you know, in any walk of life, if you're making mistakes on here, you know, and you'll sort of let it go. It's the level, your standard of living in life, it slips, doesn't it?
How many would you bring in? Forget about who you get rid of, but how many would you bring in, and where would you look?
I'd want someone on the left. You know, the
left midfield.
Left midfield, left
which
winger.
Which we've been talking about since the decline of Pienaar, haven't we? So that's
left midfield, left winger, striker.
Goalie.
Yeah, need a goalkeeper. I'll probably bring in another defender, but they're not doing the jobs at the moment. Jags obviously is having a difficult time as well. January you'd want probably 4, wouldn't you? Minimum.
At least in the first week. In the first week, I want 4.
You don't want to. Yeah.
For me, I think the first week in January will tell us
hopefully
everything about where the club's going, not only as a football club, but behind the scenes. Because if we're not getting those deals done now, I mean, there's talk of this lad from Russia, because that's worked before buying players from Russia.
Which one? The Yarmolenko one? Again?
No, this is another one.
Alan Dagovic.
So it's take us 3 weeks to
there's obviously talk of Depay, talk of Schneiderlin. But for me, if we're not getting these done, so that in the first week, fans are going to start saying what's going on.
We don't want to be going into February thinking, oh, there's next year's they need time to gel. We can't be having all that, and it's all about what the future's going to be. You know, I've had the same system of being at Man City and seeing these next level of players coming through, and the following year, I know City have got endless pots of gold, but they made a lot of massive errors or big mistakes, and I don't want Everton to go down that route. I don't want Everton to be going spending 20-30 million on a player and he's not sort of proven, or he's not sort of going to fit to how we want to play in it. But then also I want us to be successful, so I'm trying to figure out the right balance of not sort of, we don't want to be 2 years down the line, Rashidi pulls his money out and then we're like, what's going on here? And I would the players who are not playing in the Premier League or across Europe on the bench or struggling to get into squads, there's some massive talent there that we can nick on the cheap instead of paying over the odds. You know, I'll go to United and give some of these players a bit of, you know, at least a life to go out and go, look, show what you can do for 6 months.
Yeah.
And then if proved to us, you know, when I look, they'll be great and I'm a bad and that. But you know, it's just it's an indication they get to know the club.
Yeah.
Prove us you want a contract from us, and if you do well, we'll give you a good contract, and then you take us to that next level, because we can't go from mid-table to top.
No.
You know, we need to sort of get them players to sort of get us into the European and the Champions League.
Yeah.
And then when we're there, then we can start.
Yeah, we don't.
Then we come and chase it. We can't be all daft and go and spend 30, 60 million pound on a player because we're not in the Europe. No. He really won't want to come because he's only going to come because of the money. You know, there's only going to be some players who want to come and prove a point to ex-managers, Man United, Chelsea. Fabregas and hardly getting a game. There's big players
there are. You know,
just
convincing them, isn't it?
It's just convincing them.
And also having.
There's no World Cup or anything.
No,
So
no.
you can look, you get a game.
Yeah.
You know, so I know it's
Even
going to be
5
difficult.
months, and then you
But
just
it's
go
at the end
back.
of the season. Go look, there you go.
But it's also, I think, the club being prepared to go and ask those players that question.
Be brave.
You know what I mean? Like
be cheeky enough to go.
Yeah, people will laugh at you if you mention those kind of names, like a Fabregas, or even someone's mentioned before, like Luke Shaw.
Yeah,
go
I've
and
said
ask
that.
them. Go and
I've
ask
said
them the
it.
question. Go and see if they're prepared to come
Don't know,
with
they
you.
might not be happy. They're at a big club, but they might not be happy where they are. They go, you know what? I want to move. I want to change the scenery. I want to be sort of, you know, they probably want to be the big player.
Yeah.
You know, some players like being the big player. You know, and when you go to teams like Man United, when you've got Ibrahimovic and all the big stars, Pogba's around you, you might sort of go down a little bit and not express yourself enough and playing yourself. If we give these players an opportunity to go, look, it's 6 months end of the season, come enjoy your football, get us to a decent level, teach the young kids around. It'd be great for the kids. Yeah. You see these big names coming in and how they train. But that'll give a kick up the backsides of some other players. Senior pros were sort of tinkering on I don't need to do that sort of mentality. And you know, sort of look at Rom and he scored a great goal. He's getting the goals. His stats look great. But if you look at Suarez's work rate, look at everyone's work rate. They're great teams, but it's all work rate. And work rate, if you don't score, the fans are going to give you the clap and a cheer.
Yeah,
they're going to, you know, don't show that. You're going to give them an opportunity to be negative towards you. Just don't give the fans any negativity. Just do your best and try your hardest. I know you sort of say, well, they need to sort of save his energy for when we get the ball, but God, there's like
doesn't happen that much.
Just like go to the bar, or go to bar. You know what I mean?
You've got to work hard, and that's there's players like Schneiderlin that improve us immediately. Yeah. You know, Depay could be absolutely fantastic. It could be
a gamble.
And also it's whether someone like
but
Depay.
It's going to be a cheap gamble.
Exactly. And he might have a role already established in his head where he wants Depay. Like I know a lot of people are saying, well, Depay's not better than Deulofeu or Morales, but I see Depay playing as a second striker rather than a winger. You know, that kind of pace. He could be the runner.
You'll know him. You know, from the Dutch connections, he knows what he can get from him. You know, so you know I really do think that's the way we should go. You know,
seeing that lovely story about Van Dijk, he's just moved agents and he's with Koeman's agent and he favours a move to Everton. I don't know. So just give James McCarthy to Southampton.
I think a few bigger clubs than Everton will be looking at Van Dijk. I think we missed.
Been on form. Really,
we should have bought him last year instead. We bought
him
the Argentina fella.
Mori instead.
Yeah, it was a clever
bit strange, but
it'd be nice. We're after them as well. Weren't they? At one point as well. So
it'd be lovely though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but there is talent out there, and you know, hopefully we get talent that have experience of Premier League. I know what it's all about. I know we might have to go offshore and Steve Walsh, you know, his scouting connection and get a few in, but we don't. They're all gambles, aren't they? We don't know if they're going to settle.
And we leave Ghana
the English, you know. Yeah, we know the when Kone, I forget, and lose him.
Oh, Kone, yeah.
You know, so it's something that needs to be addressed, and as I said, hopefully we do set in stone from early doors in January. But I think it's a must. It's a must for the dressing room. I think the dressing room needs a big freshen up because we haven't been much of a in the transfer of the last
four transfer
off days.
Yeah. Need to cut the Wi-Fi off.
Have
a phone. Got a lead line dressing room in Finch Farm, so you can't get a signal in there.
Let's get mirrors so they're going to look at themselves.
Oh,
yeah. Right, stay at our bit. We've done our bit. We've moaned a bit for like a good part of an hour. Let us know in the comments your thoughts on this game. Big thanks for Michael Ball for coming in and just getting the opportunity to get off his chest. Basically, we'll see you later on Toffee TV.